In this video, I want to take a look at property boundaries, the boundaries of property. So, the Property Registration Authority in Ireland looks after and administers the Registry of Deeds and Land Registry. In Land Registry, you're going to have to identify a property folio. So it'll be a land registry sealed and certified folio. In that folio, it's going to have a written description of the property. So it might say a piece of ground or land situate or a house situate in such and such a parish in such and such a county. It might also give the size of the property, especially if it's land. And attached, and also in the folio, it's going to have the registered owner and any burdens affecting the folio, any covenants or conditions, any burdens, rights of way, that type of thing. So that's the general description. In addition to that, there's going to be a map. And the map is called a plan or a file plan. And this file plan is one that will have been submitted in the first instance by the person who is registering ownership of that property. So obviously it'll be a solicitor, and the map will go in the first instance when the folio is going to be opened, and the map is going to indicate the boundaries of the property. However, it's important to know that even though the map must be a Property Registration Authority approved map, and it must be an Ordnance Survey approved map, well, not necessarily Ordnance Survey, but most maps come from Ordnance Survey in Ireland. An Ordnance Survey and the Property Registration Authority work very closely, because the Property Registration Authority does digital mapping in order to ensure the maps that are on the Property Registration Authority hang together well, as it were. But the Ordnance Survey then carries out regular topographic surveying and so on. But the important thing to remember is that the boundaries of the map that are indicated on the map, on the file plan, are non-conclusive. In other words, the Property Registration Authority operates a non-conclusive boundary system, and the Land Registry, Property Registration Authority Land Registry, does not identify boundaries, only properties, and never shows ownership of individual walls or fences. As I say, the boundary system adopted by Land Registry is a non-conclusive boundary system. This means that the ownership of the physical structures which mark a boundary is unidentified. In addition, the exact location of title boundaries is undetermined. And to be clear about that, there is a 1964 Registration of Title Act. Registered land shall be described and identified by reference to the registry maps concerned in such manner as may be prescribed, except as provided by this Act. Neither the description of land in a register nor its identification by reference to a registry map is conclusive as to its boundaries or extent. Clearly, this can give rise to disputes between neighbours and adjoining landowners, because the fact of the matter is the physical boundary on the ground may not correspond precisely with the boundary line that's indicated on the folio. The deviation or difference between the two may be very small, or it may be quite significant, and it may be from time to time needed between the adjoining landowners to address the situation by way of a deed of rectification. In other words, they're going to rectify the boundary, and one of the parties will transfer a bit of ground to the other party in order to have the physical boundaries on the ground, for example, a hedge or a fence or a paling, correspond with the map. But it is often the case that the physical boundaries on the ground simply do not accord with the map, the file plan that's on the Land Registry folio. And it's important to understand that. It's also important to understand as well that if there is any slight deviation or difference between the map boundary and the physical boundary on the ground, the physical boundary on the ground is the relevant boundary, as it were, of the properties. Because, as I say, the Land Registry operates a non-conclusive boundary system. So even though there is PRA approved maps, even though they do work in tandem with, hand in hand with the Ordnance Survey, the reality is that it's a non-conclusive boundary system, and the actual map does not necessarily determine the boundary, and may well be that the boundary on the ground, as I say, deviates from the map, and that is going to be the boundary between two properties, two adjoining properties. Disputes can arise, and unfortunately they can become bitter, and sometimes deeds of rectification or transfers of land from one boundary or from one folio to another may be necessary. But obviously good sense needs to prevail. But people should be aware that the actual file plan is indicative, and it is a good indication of the general boundary of a property, but it is non-conclusive. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, I would appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below, and you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. I make videos, a lot of videos about Irish law, Irish business, and I upload 2 videos a week, Wednesday and Saturday every week. And if you're interested in subscribing, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified every time that I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.